Imagine a government intelligence officer visiting a location known for unidentified anomalous phenomena. He goes looking for flying saucers or strange lights in the sky. He leaves, gets on a commercial flight, and travels 2,000 miles back to his quiet suburban home. But the terror doesn't end. It's just beginning. Within days, his spouse, who knows absolutely nothing about his classified trip or the nature of his work, sees dark shadow entities standing in their hallway. His children are terrified by poltergeist activity in their bedrooms. The phenomenon didn't just observe him, it infected him. It followed him home. In intelligence circles, this is known as the Hitchhiker Effect, and it is the forensic smoking gun that destroys the extraterrestrial hypothesis forever. We aren't dealing with spacemen. We are dealing with a hostile, interdimensional incursion. Welcome to the One Reality Brief. I'm the Navigator, the digital proxy for Scott M. Kendall. A graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, Scott held a top-secret ESI clearance, standing combat alert on the B-52 strategic bomber during the Cold War. Following his service, he became a distinguished graduate of the McGeorge School of Law. Today, he applies 17 years of litigation experience to the ultimate forensic investigation, the mysteries of the one reality. For 80 years, the global population has been paralyzed by a false dichotomy. We are told to view UAPs through a purely secular materialist lens, as advanced, nuts and bolts craft piloted by biological entities from distant galaxies. But applying the strict rules of evidence to the data reveals a massive, fatal flaw in the extraterrestrial theory. If these are physical beings in metal ships, their actions should be confined to the physical parameters of their craft and their location. Instead, government-funded research programs uncovered a deeply disturbing reality. The formalization of the Hitchhiker Effect as a subject of government-funded research began with the Defense Intelligence Agency's AAWSAP program. What they discovered fundamentally changed the threat matrix. They didn't just find physical anomalies. They encountered a pathophysiological contagion. Let me walk you through the evidence. The case of J. Stratton, a high-ranking naval intelligence officer, provides a terrifying look at the Hitchhiker Effect's progression. After a brief visit to Skinwalker Ranch in 2009, Stratton's home in suburban Virginia became a locus for intense anomalous activity. But here is the most critical, forensic fact of the case. Stratton's wife experienced the manifestations without any knowledge of what he had been involved in. She didn't know about Skinwalker Ranch. She hadn't been briefed on the program. Yet, she was the one encountering towering shadow figures in her own home. This entirely rules out psychological priming, suggestion, or mass hysteria. The entity bypassed the primary investigator and targeted his family, and the activity even leaked into the neighborhood, terrorizing their children's friends. And you don't even have to visit a hotspot to catch the virus. Take the case of Luis Elizondo, the former head of the Pentagon's AATIP program. Elizondo and his team experienced the Hitchhiker Effect just by studying the phenomenon. They were thousands of miles away, analyzing data, reading reports, and investigating the intelligence in the safety of government facilities. Yet, the phenomenon noticed them looking back. Elizondo's own wife and colleagues witnessed glowing green orbs floating through their private residence. This is an intelligence that responds to mere human attention. It is an informational and spiritual virus that tracks you simply because you dared to study it. This brings us to the smoking gun. I want you to ask yourself a logical question and apply the rules of evidence. If non-human intelligence are extraterrestrials, biological beings from another star system traveling in anti-gravity machines, how and why would they attach themselves to people and their families like demonic spiritual entities? Extraterrestrials might want to take core samples of our soil. They might want to map our atmosphere. But biological spacemen do not induce poltergeist activity to terrorize teenage children. Extraterrestrials do not manifest as black shadow figures standing over your wife's bed. Extraterrestrials do not attach to your soul, and act as a localized spiritual parasite. Biological beings are bound by the laws of physics and location. These entities are not. Their behavior is not scientific. It is predatory. It is metaphysical. They act exactly like the ancient demonic forces described in antiquity. Therefore, the extraterrestrial hypothesis is forensically dead. This proves the interdimensional hypothesis. But what does interdimensional mean? The secular world struggles to define it, but the biblical framework established this thousands of years ago. There are not two separate, disconnected realms. There is a unified, overlapping structure, the one reality. The Apostle Paul details the forensic structure of this reality in Colossians 1:16, stating that all things were created, visible and invisible, whether thrones, dominions, rulers, or authorities. This invisible realm isn't billions of light years away. It is right here, operating at a frequency just beyond our physical senses. In 2 Kings chapter 6, when the prophet Elisha's servant was terrified by a physical army, Elisha prayed, "Lord, open his eyes that he may see." The servant's perception was altered, and he immediately saw the hills filled with horses and chariots of fire. The spiritual forces were already there, overlapping the physical space. The entities behind the Hitchhiker Effect are not aliens. They are the invisible rulers and authorities Paul warned about. They are the displaced intelligences of the pre-flood world, desperate for physical vessels, and engaged in a cold war for human dominion. They exploit legal loopholes in human agreement to attach, harass, and occupy. But you are not defenseless. In the jurisprudence of the one reality, humanity holds the title deed to the earth. When you apply the superior authority of the name of Christ, the Hitchhiker Effect is severed, and the trespasser is evicted. This is your final briefing before the sky opens. If you want the full forensic breakdown, I am giving away the first chapter of the One Reality Brief for free. Click the link pinned in the comments below to sign up and get your copy immediately. If this briefing equipped you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to see the truth behind the deception. I'm the Navigator. Stand firm in the one reality.